welcome to my channel. Again, my name is Trees of Simone Lynette Styles, and I am a personal stylist, or wardrobe stylist rather. So just a quick recap of who I am, and then we'll go over what this video will be about. So again, I am a personal stylist, and I help mamas, mostly postpartum mamas and women of color, to help reclaim their identities and live their lives authentically and passionately through personal style, okay? So we've been going over this body series, right? Excuse my son if you hear him. I honestly think he's probably doing it on purpose. Excuse him. All right, so yes, we've been going over this body series, right? So we've been talking about different body shapes and some of the do's and don'ts of that body shape. And again, these are all just foundational tips about the body shape. There is no one here to tell you what you can and can't do, right? If it looks good on you and you feel good on it, feel good wearing it, then go ahead and work it. Why not? I mean, fashion is meant to be fun. You're meant to explore and really find your style, and then you find your identity within that style as well, okay? So just to recap again, we've already gone over the inverted triangle, right? So that's like our upside down triangle. We've gone over the rectangle shape. We've also gone over the round body shape. And today we are going over the pear or triangle shape, you know. So I know some people call it different things, and whatever you may call it, pear or triangle, the point is that you understand that your hips and your bum, the measurements for that are typically larger or wider than your shoulders and your bust, okay? So usually that means you're a lot more hippie, okay? Nothing wrong with being hippie. No body shaming here. This is all about confidence, mama. You work what you have, right? So you just have to find out the things that flatter that shape. So let's quickly go over some of the things to avoid when you are the pear shape, okay? So when you're avoiding some of the style faux pas, as they like to call it, when you are a triangle shape, that means you want to avoid wearing any like bright colors on your bottom half, any bright prints on your bottom half, anything that's like horizontal, you know, when we talked about that hamburger, right? So no hamburger lines, no horizontal lines on your bottom half. Wearing too big or too oversized tops, right? So tops that are too big is gonna also make you look a little bit more frumpy on the top. And then things on the bottom tend to be a little bit more tight when you are a pear or a triangle shape. So you wanna make sure you're creating the right balance between the two, okay? Something else that you want to avoid is also wearing too tight of a top, okay? So again, we know you're more like this and then bam, right? So when you're wearing a tighter top, it kind of throws the proportions off a bit. So you want to make sure again that your tops are not too tight, okay? Not too big and then not too tight. So you got to find that perfect medium between the two, okay? Some other things you want to avoid when you are a triangle shape is avoiding any of your bottoms that would be too tight and too skinny and too tapered. I'm sorry, y'all. It seems to be a lot going on when I decided to record. But we're going to keep it going anyway, okay? Just ignore them. So some of the other things that you want to avoid, as I was saying, is too skinny or too much of a taper bottom or too tapered on the leg, because again, having that thicker hip, right, and then you're going down to the bottom of your leg and you're going like this is off on the proportions, okay? So you want to avoid that. You want to avoid adding any additional details to your hips, okay? Any embellishments, any of the frills and the ruffles and all that kind of stuff, any of that on your hips you want to avoid, because again, that's going to make you look wider than what you actually are. okay? So we're gonna flip the script real quick, and we're gonna go over some of the do's, okay? So when you are a triangle or a pear shape, some of the things that you do want to emphasize is having more of your brighter and your bolder colors up top, all right? So the top is where you get to have fun. On your top half, you can do the frills, you can do the ruffles, you can do all of the fun stuff, the fun print, the fun personality pieces that you can throw out on top. And I'm a fan of shoulder pads too. So, I mean, not to take it too far back in the 80s, but the 80s had the shoulder pads and the 90s had some shoulder pads. A good shoulder pad will obviously create a visual balance for a pear shape, right? So I'm a fan of a shoulder pad. You got a shoulder pad, use them pear shape, use them, okay? So get you a shoulder pad. Any of like those shoulder detailings or even of the sleeve detailings are great for a pear shape. Making sure again that the bottom doesn't have a whole lot of embellishments on that hip area, because you don't want to do too much at the hip. Nobody likes to look larger, you know, than what they really are. So you do want to avoid any of those things that's at the hip, but you want to make sure you do all of that on your top half, okay? Shoulders, here on the neckline, all of this, that's where you want to do it. So speaking of neckline, of course, V-necks are always great for generally any shape. So having a V-neck is awesome. Also wearing like cowl necks. So that's when your cowl neck, you kind of have like that little droop that's going on here. Those are great for pear shapes. And just kind of playing with this area up here is where you want to maximize your volume instead of your hip and your bottom half for the pear shape, okay? So some of the other do's is wearing your wide legs, wearing some flare legs, the boot cuts, some of the wider leg openings. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot do a skinny at all, but just for proportional reasons, you may want to do something a little bit wider on that bottom half, okay? So when it comes to like dresses and skirts, you want to do things that kind of flare out a bit. So fit and flares are amazing. Wrap dresses pretty much go with anybody, okay? So wrap dresses, you can never fail. Something that has an empire waist. So the empire waist kind of like lifts up or stops at the bust line. That works really good. I'm sorry, y'all, my kid then came in here and he's messing with everything that he possibly can. Okay, so I'm trying not to get all mama on him while I'm recording. Yes, sir. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay, go ahead, go get your yogurt. All right, so as I was saying, when you're wearing dresses, you want to wear something that flares out, okay? So more like your fit and then your flare. A-lines, great, but you don't want to do anything, again, that has too much volume. So any bulky fabrics or anything that's probably a little thick, you want to stay away from, okay? Because again, that's going to add more volume. That's not what you need on the bottom half. That is not what you need. Maxi skirts are really good for our pear shapes as well. So you just want to make sure that you are going with the fit of your body and not necessarily going against it and adding too much in the wrong spots, okay? So with that being said, any type of like strapless dress is really good for pear shapes. And I mean, you know, you gotta have some good fit shoulders for that. So as long as you've been in the gym working it out, you may be able to get away with a strapless dress. Give it a try. So that is the conclusion for our pear or our triangle shape. I just kind of ran through on some of those basic points. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram under Simone Lynette Styles, as well as Pinterest under Simone Lynette Styles. Make sure you subscribe here. That's right, push that subscribe button here. Make sure you share, you like, you comment, and you also do the same on Instagram, okay? You can always send me a DM on Instagram, or you can also go to my website, which is SimoneLynetteStyles.com, and you can send me a message on there. I'm here to help as well as to learn from you guys as well. The objective is to build a community of mamas, women of color, postpartum mamas, that we all need that help sometimes with getting to the next level in our lives. And I promise you can do that with style, okay? Style is one thing that people are attracted to. They see how you look first before anything else happens, right? So whether we like it or not, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, okay? So make sure again you subscribe here and you stay tuned for more videos, okay? Next week we'll be going over Hourglass, and I actually think I said I was gonna go over Hourglass this week, so forgive me. I wanted to save Hourglass for last, right? Because that's the proportion that most people go for. So again, my name is Therese of Simone Lynette Styles, and I am here to help mamas and women of color, postpartum mamas, to reclaim our identities and live our lives authentically and passionately through personal style. Thanks for watching.